Now this mystery unfolds within you, and you will taste of power, a power unknown to mortal mind. You will taste of a wisdom. You will be able to interpret all the phenomena of life. For everything in the world contains within itself the capacity for some symbolic significance. And you will see something that means nothing to the mind as it walks by, and you will interpret the action. You'll actually be able to interpret the dream, the vision, because it's all the language of God. 3 men walk by, and to the average person, 3 men walk by. They're not just 3 men walking by to you when it begins to unfold. So a woman gets up on the bus, followed by a man, followed by a woman, followed by a man, and you interpret the phenomena that is unfolding before you. That's wisdom. Everything in the world is screaming at you and telling you what it represents in this world. But man is completely blind to it, and he confuses wisdom, which is revealed truth, with knowledge, which is science. Now, he does not disparage science, no, but in the end it will all fade, as though it were never part of the world. So here, power and wisdom, the gift that God gives to his Son. Now, he delights in the sons of men. For who does he call himself in Scripture? He speaks of himself more often than in any other title as the Son of Man. That's the singular of sons of men. What does he mean by it? A son of man is that which comes out of man, as told us in the 7th chapter of the book of 2 Samuel. Go and tell my servant David. And who is David? I have found in David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who will do all my will. Now the central figure in the gospel speaks of himself as the Son of God, but he speaks of himself more often as the Son of Man. And he tells you, I have come to do the will of him that sent me. Not my will, but thine be done. But then who is that one? We are told David was the one that he chose, and he called David the one, a man after his own heart, who will do all my will. And who was David? He was the son of Jesse. And Jesse means Jehovah exists. That's what the word means. Any form of the verb to be. In other words, I am. He is the son of I am. So in the 7th chapter of 2 Samuel, he turns to his prophet, go and tell my servant David that when his days are fulfilled and he lies down with his fathers, I will raise up his son after him, who shall come forth from his body, and I will be his father, and he shall be my son. Something comes out of man. It is you, your own identity, not another, but what comes out for all the, I would say, the identity of the person that you are. There's going to be a radical transformation of form. It's not the same form. It's not feet and things that you have here. No. Entirely different beings, still the same identity, but a form that is altogether different. It's a form that is power. It's infinite power. And you do not have to exercise it in the sense of doing this or doing that. This is what I mean by it. If clothed in that body you found yourself in hell, instantly hell will be transformed into heaven without raising one finger to transform it. I know this from experience. The year was 1946 when I tasted of the wisdom of God and the power of God. I was on a ship coming through the Caribbean Sea from Port of Spain, Trinidad, to Mobile, Alabama. It was 7 days at sea. It was a freighter bringing bauxite into the mines, or rather the ovens in Alabama. It only carried 12 passengers, so I retired early. I had my wife and my little girl. Now the thing to do aboard a little ship like that, rather than simply enjoy the 3 meals, the sea breezes, and then sleep. So I turned in quite early. And in the wee hours of the morning, I felt myself like a fiery beam being pulled out of my skull in the form of a serpent, like a spiral motion. And here I am, clothed, entirely different. I am fire and air. My body is simply one living body, something unlike anything I had ever experienced. And as far as my eye could see was a huge sea of human imperfection. The blind, the lame, the halt, the withered, everything, all imperfect. I glided by in this body of light. I did not need the sun. I did not need the moon, the stars, anything to illuminate my world. I was luminous enough. As I glided, I simply illuminated the area that I wanted to see. As I came by these, and I knew they were waiting to see me, waiting for me. As I glided by, everyone was transformed into the perfection that I felt myself to be. I was made perfect. And as I walked by, everyone had to be perfect in my presence. Eyes that were missing came out of nowhere and filled the empty sockets. The hands that were missing filled the empty sockets. Those who could not walk, they leaped for joy. Everything was made perfect. And this heavenly chorus accompanied me and called me by my earthly name, Neville. They said, Neville is risen, when I first came out. And then from then that wonderful choral group sang my praises and only repeated the words, Neville is risen. But I can't describe how this heavenly chorus could take only those 3 words and use it in such a dramatic, wonderful way without changing the words. The music was fantastic, and these voices formed the music. I didn't hear instruments, I only heard the voices, and just the words, Neville is risen. But they could take it and blend it into such beauty that the very end of the journey, when the very last one was made perfect, this heavenly chorus sang out, it is finished. And then I felt myself actually come down into this garment, and this was like a straight jacket. This was something so cramping, so completely cramping, that no straight jacket in this world could be more confining than this body was when I came down into it. So I tasted of the wisdom of God and the power of God.